And if you don't like... Oh my god, this guy's flying at me. Well, that was stupid. He, like, told... Hello, how's it going, everybody? What's up? I am Squeetee, and I'm going to do a kind of like a watch-along with the most recent Ashes of Creation development update. Hopefully the mic is doing good. Last time I streamed, it was all screwed up. So just yell at me if it sounds bad. Yell at me if the video sound is low, too, from the Ashes people in Intrepid. Appreciate the like, Mr. Ty Hood over on Facebook, right? Yeah, appreciate it. So this video is an hour and 41 minutes. Whew, that's a long one. About an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm going to go from start to end. Maybe I'll take a break in the middle, just hit the restroom. And that's about it. Mic and video of you so far. So far what, Ty? So far what? Good? Bad? Not helping. I got grapes, and I've got a baby bottle of Pepsi, so I'm ready for the oh, they're fine? Alright, thank you. So I'm ready for the long haul, unless I gotta leave and go to the bathroom. My son is at a birthday party for the next, 2 hours at least. Or he does something horrible and I gotta go get him. We'll see. Yeah. Let's kick right into it. Actually, before we get into it, you can find me at all these locations here, squeetee.com. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all Squeetee, everywhere. Everywhere I am is Squeetee. And if you're looking for a guild for Ashes of Creation, please look into bmfguild.xyz. It's my guild BMF. We're an old guild from Star Wars Galaxies. We've gone through a bunch of iterations and morphs and stuff like that. We're kind of on a hiatus from MMOs. Waiting for Ashes to come around, and then we're going to kick back into it. So, by all means, guys, check it out. Take a look. I got applications on the website. It goes right to my email. And, yeah, so let's get right into it. Alright, let me know if the video is too low. I will make some commentary, but not too much. There we go. Fingers crossed for him slapping someone else and saying, that's a big... Yeah, really.
Welcome to our Glorious Ashes of Creation June development update. We hope
he's at a trampoline place, so I'm sure he's
I know on our end we
tackling people into the ball pits.
I'm Margaret
Or something, I don't know.
Lead, and I'll be kind of guiding you on this tour today. And with me, as always, is our creative director, Steven Sharif. How are you doing, Steven?
I am doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm good. And of course, we have our special guests. We're going to try
special
to
guest.
our guests each month. We have Michael Bacon, the one, the only. Everybody loves Bacon.
I wonder if he likes some Marshall music equipment.
And who's the special Dev that you brought with you?
Oh, this is Judo.
Oh, Judo.
She's part of our optimization team. Yeah, an old lady girl. Yeah.
Oh,
14.
When I
A tidbit higher volume for the video.
We
Okay.
got a cat together like the first week.
Aww.
So I just jumped the gun and premonition, all that stuff.
You
That's
knew
how I knew
it was
she
meant
was
to
the
be.
one.
Aw.
That's how we knew she was the one.
And now you have like 3 or 4 cats, right?
Yeah, 4 at the
4,
moment.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always posting photos of his awesome cats lounging on the Marshall stacks, like edgelords. But you're going to see some more edgelords later today. But to give you kind of a run through of what you'll be seeing today, we are going to go through our reminders. We have a studio update from Steven. We have a design/engineering goodies coming up. And we'll also have a short little video that will be going through some environments and talking a little bit about combat revamp updates. And we also have our environment art and character art update. And we're going to give a little bit of extra time for Q&A. We know that last dev update, people were like, you didn't do enough Q&A. So we're going to try to do
So much Q&A they can do
for you all. And of course, if you missed it, Steven did do an AMA with the MMORPG Reddit community.
Yeah, that AMA was kind of
into our community. That might be a
okay.
resource for you to check out. But a lot of those questions, I feel like maybe we've answered some of those in the past with our more hardcore fans. So the questions that we have in this Q&A segment will be newer questions.
Good.
So let me take it over to our quick updates. Of course, we do have our monthly cosmetic swap over for Deeds of the Dauntless, which will be July 7th, 2021 at 11 a.m. Pacific. As noted in our news article, we always let you know when they're going to be swapping over a whole month in advance, so you know exactly how long you have. Of course, within this article, we have an FAQ that tells you a little bit about the Alpha 1 pre-order package. And if you still have any further questions, definitely reach out to us through our support Twitter or put in a CS ticket, and we would love to assist you. I also wanted to talk a little bit about our web updates. You've probably seen we've done some downtime throughout the month in order to resolve some issues. One of the main ones that we resolved was causing some legacy users to have login issues, so we've resolved that now. We put in a bunch of bug fixes for just other little things that we noted or that people reported to us. So thank you so much. That the last update that we had, the big one, had a lot of account-related things oriented to it, so we definitely
as long as I
need
can
a little time.
read what I've purchased. That's all I want to know.
We do have our next update. We'll be adding in another payment option. You guys have highly requested a PayPal option, so we're going to add that as a third payment option. And keep giving us your feedback on all of the things, and we'll continue to update stuff. We will have some new updates coming for like the support page and forums eventually as well, coming down the line.
Okay.
And we'll keep you guys updated on when those are coming. Further on the updates front, we have our dev discussion.
What's the discussion? Environments?
Last month's dev discussion, we asked you, what are some of the
Oh, it was
things
environments.
that make for a more realistic or lifelike world when you play a game? From
Snow.
NPCs to environments and beyond, how much does realism matter to you generally? And
For you, yeah, Ty, that's a helper.
Bacon's team greatly. They're very excited to
The only reason I have PayPal is because of you right now.
Right now, here, I'll put the camera back up. You can give them your big. There you go. I need someone out there is going to make a gif of it. And of course, next month we have another dev discussion, which is actually about guilds, which will be interesting.
What about guilds?
Because we do also have our guild gathering, which is a little bit different. And last month's was, or I guess this month's was, share your fondest guild memory from your history of gaming. Bonus points for sharing pictures and or videos. And oh my gosh,
Good.
you all shared so many beautiful memories with us. I believe Toast might have already made a report for this one and shared it with the team. We really enjoyed hearing your guys' nostalgia, and we definitely want to bring back those feelings. A lot of us share similar vibes, so it's cool to see that.
Oh, Ty, they added in the last alpha test guild levels and stuff, so you can level your guild up and see what bonuses you get.
Curious what you
That
guys
was
have
cool.
to say about that. So keep tuned next month for.
They're getting ready for that big alpha test in a couple weeks.
Beyond that,
Oh, speaking of
just
it.
so you know, and as a reminder, of course, that
So
we
what is
have,
July 9th? What, 2
the
weeks?
upcoming Alpha 1 preview spot test that have been going on every month or every week, in some cases multiple times a
Yeah,
week.
nice.
Our next one will be today, actually, at 2:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Pacific, with an upcoming.
I was playing in the alpha that they're talking about here, or the testing phase. They put a bunch of combat changes in. It was all broken.
Highly recommend that you
I couldn't even walk at one point. It was so bad.
Forums and discussion channels.
And it wasn't lag, it just wouldn't take my inputs. It was weird.
Access those. You can head over to our Twitter, twitter.com AOC support channel, because that has a pinned post with all the information on it. And reminder that the visual NDA is still in effect, but the verbal NDA has been lifted, so you can talk about everything with your heart's content, but no streaming and no sharing videos. And of course, last
But pictures?
but not least, we do have our content creator program, which is now taking applications. But I do have some notes in regards to that. Remember, as noted from our previous slides.
Oh, they took the whole.
So
They took the whole test down. They weren't able to fix it during.
We actually have decided to hire on a new
test.
staff member. We are looking for
Like,
influencer
they
relations
said that.
specialist to help us
So,
out, and that's over on our career page.
excuse me, they implemented passive skills as well in the skill tree, which I think broke stuff. And they tried making some of the stuff combat smoother. And whatever they did, it increased some lag, and inputs were just being ignored.
Been exciting.
And I don't know why. So they just took the test down like 90 minutes early.
We talked a little bit about this last month.
Yeah.
And we are calling that the Content Creator Training Academy, where we'll help content creators level up their skills to be able to graduate to our official content creator program. Because
I can level up.
But there's so much passion for Ashes of Creation, and we really, really want to give back. And
should probably move my
help you guys
camera.
grow because, we're excited.
There,
We're excited
we'll upper right.
and of course, do note that some people might not make it into either of these programs. And if you don't,
Oh,
always let
I said
me know
not what
why and what you can do so you can reapply to
Reason for the test. Oh, Ty.
And I think that's it for my studio updates. So I would love to toss it over to you, Stephen, to talk a little bit about, or my reminders. I'd love to toss it over to you to talk about studio updates. Got a little dyslexia there.
So, first of all, I want to apologize for us being an hour, pushing the stream back an hour today. We had some technical difficulties as we were trying to get some recordings. Today is actually a big day from a Alpha 1 preview testing standpoint because a lot of hard work has been put into revamping the back end of the combat system.
Yeah, I felt that.
Spearheaded by Adam Pipich and helped by with Keenan and Mike and Hunter and Trad, a lot of people, Brian Ferguson, a lot of people helping get that back end revamp in place, which will then allow us to start doing some significant changes on the front end, basically what players will see on the front end side of combat. Some of those changes already have been in, but we're going to be testing a lot of that today and probably over the weekend with some of our Alpha 1 testers. It is a big day, so big congrats to that team who spent a lot of hours over the last couple of months working on the back end stuff. So very excited about that. But we did have some technical difficulties trying to record today's video, but that's okay. It's going to be a really short video just to preface it. Studio update wise, though, things are going well. We have about 30-ish of our team back in the studio, in our new studio.
That's not bad.
Unfortunately, the furniture did get delayed by a couple of weeks, so we're right now in like a temporary setup. I shared a picture with our PI, with our Phoenix initiates. We're kind of crammed into one section with some temporary furniture and whatnot over the next few weeks.
What, cardboard boxes?
Obviously, for Alpha 1 testing, kind of keeping design, engineering, and QA all in one place together so we can collaborate as we come across issues. But that's a big step in the right direction. When the furniture does come in, which I believe is scheduled for first week of July, we'll then move our entire team back into the studio. So that's going to be very exciting.
I wonder after launch, how many people are they going to keep on the payroll?
Running to show you guys, get a tour.
Like, are they still going to have 100 people, or is it just, is it going to be like a skeleton crew?
Are going to be doing on the office like the murals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it would be cool to see if they're down with being recorded. It'd be cool to be able to record a time lapse of those.
Yes.
And of course, just kind of show you guys what's going on. I think it'll also help with our social. I know Peter, who is our social media manager, is going to be very excited to kind of be able to take some photos and video and maybe share some stories on like our Instagram of like developers actually like you can see them doing their work. Obviously, we show you every month what we're doing, but a little behind the scenes action would be always fun. And we're going to be bringing on a new video person soon, so we definitely.
I feel like Bacon, who hasn't talked at all, he's just doing some environmental work right now.
I'm thinking about dev discussions. Toast, look what you've done to me. I know people loved seeing the dev diaries. We want to definitely do more of those and kind of showcasing the process of development. Obviously, we've been trying to be as transparent as we can. For those of you who are part of our alpha spot test, you get to see the nitty gritty of every week's test. And then of
the
course,
mess.
beyond that, our bigger test that we're going to be doing with more people.
Yes, I noticed people said Soft Peter is the social media. No, this is actually a different Peter. This is Peter Basulka.
School. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, no, very exciting. So, on the other side of that, obviously, we as we get back into the studio, we've mentioned this obviously in the past. We are still continuing to hire. We have a lot of positions that are open, multiple of individual positions. So the community team does a great job sharing that across all of our social media. If you guys do see that, feel free to give us a retweet. Feel free to tag your favorite developers and let them know that we're hiring. We are growing very large for this huge project that we are creating.
Interesting for you seeing the office from what it was before and now the new office and how many people and all the new faces.
The old sweatshop that we were in?
It was starting to get like sardini, that's for sure.
It was getting very sardini. Used to be. Now we have a lot of space. I mean, there is a lot of space in this new office. We're over 25,000 square feet of studio space, so
that's pretty good.
It can hold, I believe, up to 300 developers. We have a lot of fun plans in that studio, so very excited for that. Yes,
I have a feeling they're going to make a second game or some other game.
Doors, and when it got a little warm, during the summer, you could just open up the garage doors and just let the wind flow through the studio. We also had fans that were, no joke, the fans were created by a company called Big Ass Fans. That was the name.
Okay.
We would let those fans go like crazy. Now we don't have the fans. It's much more officey, but it's still.
I'll put the fans in.
More homey once we get all the actual furniture in and the decor, and right now it definitely feels like a corporate office that you've probably seen a million places. But we're going to make it fun and also have like some arcade games and a little gaming room for folks for their break.
You're making a game.
So we'll have lots of fun space, and once it's all done too, we'll...
Oh, you got them at your factory, Ty? That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm excited too because once it's all done, we also have some backers from the old Kickstarter days who actually are entitled to an in-person studio tour.
Yeah,
who's in?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm super excited for that. I love hosting events and like creating events. So that's
who's got a? Do I have access to this
They're starting up
tour?
that COVID's kind of like.
Go on Kickstarter and look.
Horrendous in chat says you'll need to find a new ice cream truck.
Oh my gosh, that ice cream truck!
Those of you guys who don't know, at the old studio we used to have an ice cream truck that would come by, and one time I went out there and I bought like all of his stuff in the ice cream truck and distributed it through the studio. So ever since that day, he would every day just prowl around outside the studio with his ice. Remember
He's
that?
like, there's a chance he'll buy everything again.
There were days where I like didn't come out to buy his truck basically, and he would just sit in front like staring through
I better have access.
like a lost puppy dog.
I want to go. I'm on my free tour. You can be my +1, Ty. We'll go to California.
It's funny though. It was good times. But anyway, so that's the studio update. Things are looking good. We're excited to be back in office, and we are hiring.
Yes, and we might start doing live streams a little differently again. Either probably not next month. Next month's going to be probably more playing the game, but because we'll be in alpha. But the next month after that, we'll probably all be in person together. So we'll have a different vibe than this in the future. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
And of course, we'll move on to our design stuff. Do you want to play the video first?
Yeah, let's play.
Yeah, play the video.
I just want to preface the video, obviously. So this video is only about 8.5 minutes long. Last time we had a very long video, and we didn't quite get to a lot of Q&A. And I know that's a highlight for many of our longtime followers in the Ashes community. Love getting those questions into.
Everybody loves Q&A.
So we've compiled those, obviously, and we're going to spend a little extra time on today's stream getting some additional questions and answers in. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. This video, just short. Overview. We're just basically looking at one of the cool areas in the environment to kind of show you the differences between these areas that exist in the world. It kind of sets entirely different moods. We do that through like volumetric fogs and lighting, and the cool looking Bacon's going to have an awesome time talking about this after the video. But we show off some of the
no, I won't.
environment. We show off one of the big monster dudes. I talk a little bit about the passives. We've added passives.
Monster dudes.
Combat side. Show a little bit.
She can play video games, but the real question is,
basically, it's just
can't you make a
9-minute long video? And we're, like I said,
she is a snack, Ty. She is a snack.
I'll try to record another video. Maybe don't hold me to it. But if I do record another video, we'll throw that up on YouTube. So
Or maybe
this
next
is just
week.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we'll see you guys in there.
See you on the flip side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live.
Ooh, that looks like
stream
Dread
of
armor.
Creation.
Ty from the Dread Masters?
By our amazing
From SWTOR, that helmet thing?
manager, Lieutenant Toast, the tiniest of toasts. Hey, Toast.
Greetings. I am very, very tiny today.
Yeah, I see you
Very
got your.
pretty.
You're being responsible.
Actually, that whole outfit looks like the Dread Masters.
Castigator. Or Corvid.
Just blue.
My apologies.
But yeah, I'm wearing that mask to be extra safe.
It seemed appropriate, Corvid Castigator. And we also have the edgiest of edgelords, lead community marketing, Miss Margaret.
Your
Crow.
favorite, honestly? Yeah. Dread Masters were pretty cool.
Oh my God.
Oh, nice dude.
I know. I like the energy eyes. That's a good touch.
I know. It's so cool. I love it.
And then the man, the myth, the legend himself, the bacon of baconists, Mr.
Baked
Michael
bananas.
Bacon.
Baked
Hey.
bananas.
Baked banana. What is the baked bananas in reference to?
Oh, I don't know. I just like the baked bananas, I guess.
I like baked bananas too, honestly. Some good
I'm
banana
hungry.
nut bread.
Those are good.
Banana Foster.
They did a really good job that when
So,
you got...
we
Wrapped banana.
Yeah, no, their art team is fantastic. It really is.
I
That was
think.
the most unsure. That sounds good.
Well, it's difficult. I can't think of anything with bacon that isn't good, so I guess I just have
Yeah.
to decide on the
I'm
good
not a
side.
fan of like sweet and savory together. I don't.
What? That's
Yeah,
literally
I'm
an
gonna be
entire
that man
food
out.
group.
I don't like bacon and sugary bacon.
You heard it right
Maple
here. She doesn't like bacon.
delicious.
She doesn't
Yeah,
like...
You don't like
maple
bacon?
not
How can you
fan.
not like bacon?
How you know?
Bacon on donuts? No, thank you.
Wow.
Bacon and cookies? Mm-mm.
Well, we are super edgelordy today with our costumes.
We are.
So I guess it makes sense that you don't like bacon. But
I like Michael Bacon.
oh, very good.
Ah, there you go.
You got such a good dark feeling theme in the spots.
I just don't want it.
Where it should be so
Let's
far...
jump in today and give you
I'm
guys
liking it
just
so
a
far.
quick run
Hey,
around and
I'm
some
glad
of
you're
the
liking it. You're
areas
going to be
that
playing this for a long
amazing
time with
Mark
me.
team has
So
built
get,
here.
hold,
One of
hold
these-
on your pants,
Where
you
are we
know.
at right now, Michael?
We are in Elwyn Ruins.
Ooh. It's very dark, mysterious, and atmospheric-y.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It used
I
to
love
be a
this part.
mage stronghold, apparently.
Wow.
Ooh.
Loving it.
Okay.
So, I guess, guys, I wanted to just kind of show you around a little bit.
So let's fight.
Obviously,
Let's
we
go.
wanna, give you some videos of Alpha 1 as the preview for Alpha 1 as we're kind of testing and how these areas are coming to life. This place is looking very good. I love the fog, the volumetric fog here.
Is that
Yeah.
the ill wind?
The Elwyn, yeah, that's right. Elwyn.
When you're deciding what lighting should be in an environment, how do you go about
Oh, look at that javelin attack. That was nice from the little midget dwarf.
You know, when we get to design and, it requires something dark and moody, sculpt the lighting to that. But in this particular case, it was kind of weird because all these POIs kind of sit in the tropics area, which is a, very bright, sunny, happy kind of place. And so we had to figure out a way to, to get it dark and moody, like inside the context of that environment.
Makes sense.
Challenging. but we were able to do that with the atmosphere and the lighting in this area.
Yeah, it looks great. I think it looks very good.
Yeah, I like the detail and the destruction.
As do I.
And just oh, is this? Oh, sorry, they're not seeing it. I'm the only one that's seeing it.
Oh yeah,
Over here.
Uh-oh, where is it?
The Ornament of Ill-Wind. Oh, it's that.
Jermaine, yeah, just stay away from him.
Is it the big one?
I got my booty
Yeah,
on
it's the big
by
one.
him.
It's the big one.
Ooh, I'm running over to take a look at him.
He looks so cool.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Where are you even going,
I'm
man?
gonna enable my avoid
Oh,
aggro. See if we can get a good look at him. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna pause just so we can look.
that looks
I'm
cool.
gonna pause the server aggro. It looks pretty. He looks pretty daunting. It's very cool. Very
It's
cool.
like a massive version of the animated armor.
Yeah, it does
You
look
can
like
kind of
that.
see how we utilize some of the different armor pieces. You've probably seen some of these pieces on different outfits, like a Toast Corvid Castigator cloak is on him.
And that helmet is a darker version of one that we've seen before as well.
Yeah, you know what I love
So is the
about
breastplate.
the costume that I'm wearing right now is I mixed and matched it a little bit with this belt from I can't remember.
Cheating.
I know.
We all
I
are.
had a little
We
cheat.
all are cheating. We all put together weird outfits.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm normal.
This belt has like my material components for spell casting, so I definitely feel like I'm a witch right now.
Good.
Yeah,
You
it's
got some
pretty
witchy
cool.
vibes. It's perfect for the
Oh, yeah.
spooky zone.
I'm just going to run around a little bit. Another thing that we did recently that's actually going to be starting to test today is we adjusted a lot of the back-end combat stuff. So you'll notice, like, as I go into action mode, I have my reticle, and when my reticle hovers over an enemy target, it'll turn red, essentially, showing like, hey, you have a valid target hit. That you can see, and when you press Q, you can lock onto that target. You can also hold Tab to alternate between targets.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Combat that we're trying to incorporate, which is like mixing and meshing between Tab and action. So you still have that action component, but also are available to use.
I was getting rocked in PvP yesterday. I didn't see any of
Another
that.
thing we added, if we open up J, is
Passives. I saw that.
passive skills. So you can see all these passive abilities: regen, attack damage, critical hit damage, health regeneration, defense mitigation, maximum health. A lot of different changes from the passive side of things, and these are based on what archetype you've chosen. So wow, there's a lot of work obviously coming into what Alpha 1.
I like it.
Amazing testers are helping us to kind of find bugs for and whatnot. For example, you can see some of the name tags coming through the static environment meshes. But I love this environment making. The environment team's done a great job just kind of.
Yeah, you weren't. I needed a pocket healer. I was getting wrecked. Someone found a bug where if you do something, you get infinite heals, like you're out of combat. So the game just always thinks you're out of combat. So I was going up against one guy who I would do everything I could to kill him, and he would just stand there and just auto heal and just melee me down, like auto attack me down. It was crazy.
Very foreboding.
Obviously, this set, I'm loving this set as well. And Margaret, you helped design the set, right?
Yeah. You're wearing, I think, a combination of a couple of sets that I designed.
I
And
know.
then the one set is the Master's Armor set that you designed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He doesn't remember what he designed.
I love it, especially in the world. It definitely makes me feel like I am some type of arcane necromancer. The mask,
Yeah,
especially.
I think you're wearing part of Face of Sorrow stuff, right? Or no, Death's Hand and Mirror Shade and the Withering
Guys with the withering
Woods
ones.
one.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, I know we have a lot of art to show off, and we're just going to jump back into the stream, but we wanted
I was
to show
hoping
you
for
guys
some more
the
combat.
places in the environment in the alpha that you guys have an opportunity to take a look at.
Oh, stretching legs.
Places all grow as well with the nodes as they advance, and you're going to see creepier,
How?
crawlier things kind of come out of the world, with some bosses that might appear here and there.
Tied.
With that being said, we'll see you guys back on stream here in just a second. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Well, it seems like you guys were enjoying it.
Don't worry, Ty. I'll always carry you.
First of all, I do like bacon, y'all. I just don't like it with sweet stuff, okay? And
What?
I'm not a big fan of fries in your milkshake.
Oh, that's so good. How can you dare say such a thing?
I don't like sweet and savory together. It's just not my jam. But you know what? More for you guys. I like my shake and I like my fries, but not mixed. So we did have a couple questions.
Fry in the shake. Sorry, go ahead.
No. We do have a couple questions. So the first one is from, and I apologize if I don't get your names right. You're welcome to message me and tell me how to pronounce it properly. Nelumocha, and they want to know, will you be able to turn off the crosshairs in your settings? And obviously, you can toggle between.
Why would you turn them off?
Action mode or not?
Yeah, so right now, the way that it's implemented, pressing Z as a hotkey, and obviously, key bindings, you can rebind how you wish, but pressing Z right now by default will switch you over into the action combat reticle mode, right? Now, action combat isn't just based on your camera and having a reticle, right? So some of our abilities and skills and weapons utilize projectiles, they utilize skill shots, right? Those are the aspects of action combat that is available. And if you don't want to play with a reticle, you don't have to.
Oh, man.
There will also be opportunities in the future for you to even...
You gotta go follow... I don't know if you got a Twitter. You gotta go follow her on Twitter. She puts a lot of stuff up. She also hosts a bunch of other things, too.
Folks have kind of follow-up questions to that, which is,
sure.
So will I have...
Like Dungeons & Dragons nights, and she dresses up, I think.
Is that going to be, like, a necessity?
No, you will not have to... You can use an ability... if you use an action combat ability that's going to be directional focused, you do not have to be in reticle mode to use that. It will fire where that reticle would be. So if you play by, like, feel, right, and you're in tab target camera mode, you can still utilize your action-oriented skills and abilities.
Okay. And then the other thing that I noticed people talking about was when you mentioned aim lock. Freeman asked, could
Trouble with who, Ty?
use my action combat abilities? Does that
Trouble with
defeat
who?
the whole purpose of action combat?
No, so action combat abilities will not have a lock-on feature, so to speak, right? Some of those are going to be skill shot only. However, because you have a mix and match of tab abilities that require a target, you will be able to target lock in action mode as well. Right now, that's delegated to the Q key as default, but you can obviously set that up and put it on the mouse button, or you can put it wherever you want, right? And when your reticle hovers over a target, it rapidly swaps your target ability, and when you press your target lock, it will then lock that target. And if you have tab-oriented skills, you can use your tab-oriented skills, and they will be used against that target.
Sorry, I'm very distracted by Bacon's cat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's so cute. It was like kissing you and like rubbing your head. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's great. We get to hear about Ash's creation, and then we also get to watch a cat. This is like my dream.
Okay.
So the next question was...
It's just like the old days, right?
Yeah,
just don't put the cat butt on the stream. I don't want to get KOS issues.
Sorry.
We have Bez Milosi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Sorry. One wants to know, will you change damage numbers so they can be bigger? So basically, can you change your UI? Also, there were
that's kind of a given.
Chat in regards to like, will crits be bigger text? Like, how are you guys handling that? Because that was something different that they probably saw than in the past.
It's very important to know that in Alpha 1 you are not going to see a solid UI presentation, and that's because our UI currently is still very placeholder, very work in progress, but the intent is obviously for there to be some versatility on the player's behalf to adjust damage text so that it can fit kind of their desire. Yes, there will
I turn off damage text in almost every game. Like
that display perhaps criticals and CC.
It doesn't bother me unless I'm testing an ability and like really trying to theory craft and get some info. That's the only time I ever have it on.
That answers your questions. And then the last one I had, which was from Squazzle, which we've answered quite a few times, and you've actually, if you've been watching our streams quite a bit, you would know this, that we will have a nighttime. We have a day and night cycle, and we actually showed off some of it in some of our previous live streams where we actually showed like beautiful
day-night cycle.
The sunset. It was just amazing. I highly recommend you going back and watching that if you haven't.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. Like, I can never talk enough about how amazing our artists are. And so I'm glad we have.
That's going to be such an odd thing, Ty, for us playing SWTOR for all those years, and now in a game that has an actual day-night
so you
cycle.
mentioned that we have the new ability and combat system, with obviously the focus on cross-server instances and instance messaging and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about more of the work that you guys are doing in regards to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the reason for, why the work began on the back-end systems of how combat is done in our game is for optimization, performance, and also just sheer functionality that we want to see present in our construction of certain types of abilities. So, the previous combat system was, as we were doing testing with large player density, and we were noticing as players kind of move across the world and between these border regions of our servers, it wasn't as performant as we would have liked it to be. So we kind of had to go back and take a look at how we were facilitating this networking for not just the combat and the abilities, but how essentially they're being constructed. And we came up with an approach that alleviated some of the performance concerns, and allowed us to dial up the number of concurrent players that we have participating in battles and all across the world. So that was a necessary feature development that had to be done, kind of revamping the back-end system of how combat is done, allowing us now going forward for the design team with this tool, with these tools from engineering, to construct the types of abilities we want to construct with the functionality that we want them to have and the CC effects, and also be performant at the same time.
Perfect. And obviously, if you guys have follow-up questions, definitely ask those in our next Q&A, because we always do these monthly. Now, development is not always pretty. We do have issues along the way, and one of the things that we have been encountering, and a lot of our testers have been helping us with, is our AI controller and pawn issues.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk a little
This
bit
is
about
horrible right
what's
now in the
going on with
testing.
that, how their testing has assisted us, and how we found a resolution to it?
Well, we haven't found a resolution quite yet.
Uh-oh.
Close. Yeah, no, for the past month or so, we've been, I guess not to get too technically into it, but we've been having kind of this issue where, as NPCs die in the world in our testing, right, their behavior tree, their AI controller, stays around and builds up over time the number of those AI
Can you
controllers
explain
that
kind
exist.
of going back one little step of what an AI
Sure.
controller is for people who maybe
No, don't do it.
understand what that lingo
Yeah,
means?
it's essentially the server process that manages a particular NPC's behavior tree and other processes on the server. So as those
Right now, this is like...
over time,
I was gonna say
obviously it degrades the server's performance, because
Yeah,
now
it's really bad right now.
which was around 1,000 active NPCs per little section of the world. Now we're getting up into the 6 of thousands, 10s of thousands over time.
Then go do it,
Essentially,
Ty.
as more mobs die.
I'm not holding you back. Just put your phone in the corner while you empty out the room.
And that causes server degradation and performance issues. So we've been
That's more interesting.
fixes for that over the last month. We've been adding additional diagnostic tools in order to identify, what is causing this particular issue. We've been doing a lot of spot tests with our very patient. And
Why can't when the
testers that
hold
are
on?
a part.
Why can't when the NPC health hits 0, there's a in the tree or whatever you want to call it, the AI tree? Why isn't there a command that just deletes the process or stops it? I don't know. I think I figured it out.
Degradation on the server.
I don't know.
And when you
That's what I would do.
server performance starting to dip as a result of that.
Just have a call.
Experience
Just
things
a
like
message.
banding issues and lag and
Hey, rubber banding. You remember that, Ty?
activating certain types of skills and abilities, and it just kind of doesn't give the best of experiences. So that's been a real issue that we've been hammering down on over the past month, as I said, as part of this testing. And obviously the data and the information that we collect from each of these tests goes to help us find issues like the Ghost AI controller issue.
Right. And then beyond that, one of the features that we added on was our siege, and so we've been doing a lot of siege fixes.
It's fun,
so
unless it's unbalanced. It
doing
sucks,
some polish on
sadly.
that. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the specifics that you guys are working towards?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Siege is kind of a relatively comprehensive mode in the alpha that's intended for us to kind of illuminate issues that...
Oh, they were talking about rubber banding, Ty, during the testing, and I was just referencing you.
We wanted to provide...
You had such a horrible experience.
...in the alpha that would encourage players, hundreds of players to enter a particular area, all with a net relevancy of each other, to kind of really... dive deep into the performance of the server and kind of our massively multiplayer encounters. So there's a few things that happens on the Siege side. Obviously, having all those players in one area. Additionally, we've incorporated some raid bosses so that we have a high usage of skills and abilities that are being encountered in this.
Yeah, that was pretty bad for you.
Player versus player, but also player versus environment. Make sure that we can kind of test the performance of our AI and the behavior trees that we have for our raid bosses. So there's 3 dragons that exist in the castle siege environment.
Yeah, but does anyone attack them?
Testing some of the destructions that we have, the summoning of vehicles, the utilization of those vehicles.
Oh, those vehicles are great. Trebuchets.
Incorporating also some siege mechanics like capturing control points, conferring buffs onto players on specific teams, having players delegated to specific teams in and of
themselves. Yeah, no, that's true, Ty. That's true.
Between those players, being able to join raids with one another,
this game is only getting better.
Capture a castle, ending a particular game mode in success or failure, the cleanup step process that occurs where you have to reset the doors and the vehicles and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot that goes into this particular mode, all of which helps us to test these particular functions and features, so that as we move that logic on to different systems in the game, we
yeah, I know that was a bad one. They've been, of course, the ones you haven't played have been fantastic. Rubber banding is virtually gone until it gets bad after the server's been up for a while.
Very big
but they restart the server pretty quick.
Running for alpha. It was a last-minute addition. Obviously, we had to delay, which kind of helped us finalize and polish this process. There was some really cool sieges yesterday that we had a few hours of sieging. It was great to see that some of the balance changes that occurred on the siege level made for a pretty pitch fight. It was fun to see it go back and forth. I think in the first one, the attackers had gotten to a 75% seal on the throne, and the defenders at the last minute came and knocked them out. So that was a lot of fun to see. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
I was in meetings during all that. I didn't get to play. But we do have some siege footage up. If you haven't checked it out, we have some over on our YouTube, youtube.com/ashesofcreation. So if you want to go check out that before
Twitch issues or no live stream.
Well, so
ooh.
Good way to kind of check it out.
I don't know, Ghibli. Let's see what we got.
Fun with it. Beyond that, you guys have been working on a lot of quality of life improvements for gameplay and kind of polishing things. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the quality of life improvements that people can expect?
Oh, are you getting an error, buddy? Like error 1000 or something?
Not going to be finalized either. You're going to continue to add even more.
I totally missed the first part of that question.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Quality of life improvements that players are going to experience in Alpha 1.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure how many quality of life improvements there are in Alpha 1. I think this is more foundational testing courses.
Quality of life for Alpha 1?
Well, some of the things, like you guys have, made adjustments to the reticles. You've the text pop-ups that were happening before, a lot of more feedback than what you were getting. Some of the key binding stuff, like you weren't able to bind out your keys to what you wanted, and now you can. Obviously, there might be some issues with that, depending on the devices that you have, because we haven't fully tested with every single device in the world yet. But
I think I think a lot of what's being implemented, keeping in mind that with Alpha 1, many of these systems are in their core state. So as we implement additional features for these systems, like you were saying, Margaret, the
Weird. Twitch is always a
moving
pain.
over the hotkey stuff, and adjusting kind of the reticle mode and feedback for the player. I don't know necessarily if I would refer to those as quality of life per se. I mean, this is just kind of polishing the bare bones state to incorporate additional features that players would come to expect based on.
No, some of them they do on Twitch, but not all of them.
Not going to get to that.
I had to look this one up on some subreddit somewhere, because I get it too every once in a while.
It's intended to be a very core functionality experience, very bare bones, and that's because, from a development standpoint, you don't want to spend a lot of time polishing something that is very likely to have more iteration and significant changes, even at the base idea of a particular system. So that's why it looks. I mean, I know a lot of players see our alpha and they're like, oh wow, this looks great. It looks like a completed game. But really, I've said this in the past, and I would say it again.
Not even close.
To the microphone, you know what I mean?
Not even.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's a lot to look forward to. I think many people who haven't been a part of the Ashes development over the past few years, they can go back like on our YouTube and they can look at just a year ago or, a year and a half ago, what the difference between visuals of the game and how far it's progressed over that period of time, and then how much further it will progress as we move into Alpha 2 and
what core systems have been coming online throughout each month. Like, we are truly sharing our development journey with people, so it breaks my heart when folks are saying that we're not. We're like, literally, we're trying our best to show you updates. Obviously, we can't show you everything because some stuff is just not ready to show, right? Like, it's just not something that we're wanting to even put into the build that we're showing to our testers yet. So I think that those are things that you just have to keep in mind. We have been doing some other fixes, like we were fixing some teleporting and falling through the world bugs. I know a lot of our testers have been finding a lot of those. How are you feeling about those, Bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun stuff to remedy.
I don't know how many times I fell through with my doing trebuchets yesterday.
Oh, I mean,
Who is it?
I don't know. I mean,
Hey, Chutoy, thanks for subscribing on YouTube. I appreciate it, man. We'll have to delete cookies and Twitch later.
System.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
It's pretty hard to
Don't worry about it.
So,
It's weird. I don't know why it happens sometimes. It happens on my Firefox browser all the time.
Things happen, like when a player is falling through the world.
But appreciate you jumping over.
That kind of stuff, how some of that works. I know many of that is like on the engineering side, but some might be on the graphical side.
I mean, if the level bounds, we've been having some weird issues with level bounds recently where, somebody will check in a level and then it'll just hop over, to like another chunk next to it, and then basically now anytime you go to run the world, from that location, you just instantly fall through the world. And
yeah, I had that.
It's been a real reoccurring issue that we've been dealing with for a while. But we move back and we fix it up, and yeah.
So you guys can kind of. I think people see that in a lot of games, but they don't know on the back end what causes them.
Hey, thanks Ghibli for following me on Twitch as well. I appreciate that.
Sometimes it's just the level chunk not loading in fast enough, and we go to teleport and just
I can see that happening because I was in a trebuchet testing.
It's such a huge help.
Testing yesterday, and I was going, and I could tell I went through like a chunk or something looked funny, and then my trebuchet was just falling forever with me riding it. It was horrible.
Our internal QA teams, right? And our internal QA
10 minutes stuck.
They're all beasts. Our QA team are some beasts, led by Sean Farron. But keep in mind that team can't find everything, especially at the rapid pace of development that we're going through.
At the pace of bug creation.
We only have a few hours to vet or smoke test a particular test.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I plan to be doing this for as long as this game runs. I'm excited for the no NDA in 2 weeks. That's all I'm doing all weekend is just streaming.
Because we have the rapport with those testers that they understand that and we understand that, and what they're
Oh, the
doing is
bloom and the
helping
way
us
it goes
to
through the
refine
foliage.
the game
Yeah, it
so
does.
we can see
There's
the progress
some.
each week as they participate
Their
in the
light
tests,
source
changes that occur. So,
environment that they
we're
do is
grateful
really
to
on
testers. They
is
help us
top
to
notch.
find those issues like level streaming issues or level unloading. Like
It was an interesting test. Yeah, it was.
And beyond that, we've been working on event
was-
system fixes, animation.
It was such an
blueprints,
unbalanced
updates,
test we were in too. It was like
other
40
fixes,
versus
and
40
polishes,
defending, 25 attacking,
different
something like that.
areas. So hopefully y'all have been seeing that.
Most of the attackers gave up right away.
Been testing with us, and it's
Yeah,
really
I'm on the
good to
side.
get
They
better.
should delay,
But,
sadly.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to add on that front, Stephen?
Oh, you think they should delay more?
I feel like
Like
bacon
the Alpha 1 test coming
Not
up?
too much on the on the design front. I know Aimee and Bucky and Chong. They've been doing
Or the whole game,
Corey
maybe.
have been doing a great job on, and Scott and Doug and sorry, I guess I should name them all. But they're doing a great job, kind of updating quests. They implemented an entire.
Don't do the NDA drop.
To the game. They've updated a lot of the quests.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a lot of
good and bad about delaying it. I mean, they promised it for so long. I think people will be mad at this point
Great job on that.
if they delayed it again.
We've also just recently, I think,
They
incorporated
have to weigh it.
elite mobs, changing some of the population of the dungeons to incorporate, monsters with, different abilities and effects that are present. Again, it's nowhere near, obviously, what the full intent of Ashes is intending to be, but it does get those core systems tested and vetted during alpha, and that's the primary. That's the primary objective.
That's true. If they don't fix that AI bug, they'll have to bring the server down every 4 or 5 hours and restart it.
We're
So
going to switch over to our environment.
yeah, I hear you.
First thing
They got to
here
fix
is
that.
going to be our object concept art. So our concept art team
Definitely, I'm waiting on the NDA to get expunged so that I can see some real gameplay. What do you mean, Ty, real gameplay? You have access to it.
breathing to give it kind of the feel.
You just haven't played.
And of course,
You haven't been able to get on. I know you're busy working.
as well. Which, when you look at the concepts versus 3D models, you guys are gonna be like, "What is what?" Can you talk a little bit about the process of how this works when you get concept art and like how you guys utilize it to create the final art? And I'll walk through or I'll showcase all of those.
Sure, we get the concept art.
Oh, you want to see smart people play, not me. Fair enough.
Thanks, baby. And we're done.
Thank you.
We're done with the environment art.
No, I mean, we get the concepts, and then we take a look at the race that's attached to, and and then we go through the sculpting process, and then building the final model textures and all that stuff. So
Ooh, fancy.
with these for the first ones here, these are Kalar assets that we're looking at, which have a kind of more of a European.
Hey, Helen, how's it going?
Design them so they're a little bit.
My favorite X.
Little subtle sharp stuff going on in them, just to kind of make them a little bit more.
I can't believe you made me
yes.
say, yeah,
Talking
Ty.
about, like the fireplace, the hearths.
Yeah, fireplace, the lighting.
Yeah, I know you had to, Helen. It's all right.
The
Welcome,
candelabras,
welcome.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I understand the other side of the coin, but I think it will hurt more to show the masses the game isn't. The game and an AI issue written than it would. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Chutai. That's a very fair point.
Yeah, so we created the style guide, and it's kind of initially.
We'll have to see what they can do in the next
and then
2 weeks to fix it.
Amazing job with.
I was your only good one, so.
That we've been plugging into the game, and and then getting the races to really differentiate between each race, so they really have their own style. And I feel like with the dwarven stuff that we've been doing, that it just feels like that race feels really solid to me. Like, especially with all the environment stuff that we've been doing with that. They're, I think in the past with the humans, the Kalar and the Empyrean, we were still kind of in that pre-production sort of zone. This is kind of a mix of assets as we kind of progress, from the beginning of the project until now. And the dwarven was the first time that we really had like full-on concept crew, and then basically executing on those designs and them being a very coherent race.
You're lucky the questions I have now have nothing to do with this, so I won't ask them. Okay, Ty, I know what you're thinking.
The characters.
I got my phone if you want to messenger me.
They're looking really solid, and so and then as we've been doing this, we've been replacing a lot of the assets for the Kalar and the Empyrean to sort of shore them up to get to this kind of same realization that we have with the Denier race.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing. So we're tossing a bunch of old stuff out that we had that was early on and sort of replacing it with the new, stuff to really bring those races together.
Okay, Ty.
Right.
Bacon has these like Confluence pages made for each of the different races. That's super handy for me because when I'm designing like freehold items or things like that, I definitely look over at those guys.
Margaret does a lot for this game, designing
Races
and like
what type of building structures are
story and cosmetics and stuff. She does a lot of
get
designing
these like cosmetic pieces that
for a community manager lead or whatever.
has created, and I get the okay from his end as well.
Yeah,
it's like,
and
this is right.
yeah, and you've been doing a fantastic job with cosmetic stuff. I mean, it's all that stuff is just so. But yeah, we're really excited. We're really excited to see those 3 races that we're really developing. I mean, we're kind of working on others as well, but I mean, these are the 3 for the Alpha 1. They're really starting to come together and gel.
So are we going to be able to carry a coat of arms? Somebody's going to be a flag
Some signs
Okay.
that we're going to show up.
in our party.
What
What
are
is
these
it?
going to be utilized for? What did you guys
So we should be able to carry. From what they've said, we can design like a guild logo,
Smithing for
and then we can put it on our shields and our other odds and ends on our buildings. And I'd assume there could be a flag bearer,
down and try-
maybe as a
Sorry about that.
like a tank
You can always
character could hold it, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be cool to have like a flag bearer for a tank. He
Yeah,
shoves it in the ground, and then
we had
buff
the,
goes for the whole team.
Service buildings that we were creating.
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Or like village stage,
Lumbersmith?
the encampment stage. That we needed something that was maybe a little smaller in scope. So basically, the service is going to start with these marketplace stalls.
You do realize that the
and then
only
they
most
sort of
specific
graduate
people allowed to carry the
up
flag.
and depending on
Well, yeah, Ty. Are you talking about yourself?
some will graduate faster than others, but they start with the kind of.
I'm doing good, Andy. Just going through this live stream for this video game
As the node system ramps up, and so
for Ashes of Creation.
we're for or are for are basically for that.
Or his
first
personal
layer
confidant
of,
was allowed to carry. That's true, Ty. So you're my personal confidant.
basically the marketplace stalls for those services, and so that's kind of what these are. So there was 4 of them that were made: the fishmonger, the herb press, what is it, the lumbersmith,
The Smithing
and then
Forge.
Smithing Forge.
Forge. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, these are nice little signs.
I'm really enjoying what they said. They have
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. We're trying to inject this more personality
There will
with a lot
definitely
of
be
this
tavern
signage and
signs.
stuff.
I think we've shown some tavern signs in the past too, so don't worry, y'all.
I just want to make my own tavern sign.
Next up is some plants. These first 2 images are in regards to like the bark changes that are happening, which you maybe kind of saw when we were running around in that very spooky area, but it might have been hard to see because it's
Spooky
light.
area,
Those
yeah.
trees in general have just been completely redone from the ground up by
Yes.
Mia
True.
Del Casino, and she's an amazing. Like I said, she's my sister. I've been working with Mia for over a decade, and man, she is just so good with she's really good with everything, but yeah, she really shines with
Hey, none of these trees are floating.
trees and all that kind of stuff. So
I love the revamp she did in this area, and I also love that I don't even need to really give necessarily even direction on it. I'm just like, Mia, this place needs a revamp. She's like, I'm on it.
Yep. Exactly.
And I mean, you're seeing all of that come in through all of the plants that you guys have been seeing as we continue to progress. So very cool to show off those.
I didn't think they needed a revamp besides making some of the trees not
I
float.
actually have some screenshots here.
But
as well
whatever,
as
if they want to do
a
better.
video that I'll be playing in a moment. But you've seen the concept art for these. So if you go back and you look at some of our previous live stream, we really want to show you the journey of.
Oh, that area looks so cool.
Character art, we do it for environment art. But like, if you look at this compared to the concept, I mean.
And I just want to preface also, as you're looking at this, I just want you to imagine how when fishing gets fully implemented and that there's a variance of types of fish that can be found, what type of fish is going to be here, and how is that fish going to be caught, and what's that process and the minigame we're going to include as part of the larger fish, the fish aspect of that. Because when I look at this place, I'm just like, oh man, I would love to spend just a few hours.
You know what I want to do? Place a house right in the middle of this. Ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, this is one of two of the large water oasis sort of areas that we incorporated into the tropics biome. We got kind of close to the end of the Alpha 1 deliverable, and it was like as I was going through the concepts, I kind of realized that we did get quite a few of those concepts sort of realized, but there was still, it just felt like it was kind of still lacking some of the water element, like inland. And so
no, I would place a freehold right in the middle and have a tavern with a fishery next to it and really monopolize on that.
The one that Tristan was working on just recently, but I mean, he just recently put this in, like literally just like a week
maybe
ago.
a stable so people can leave their horses. I don't know how it's going to work, but that'd be great.
Hot with a lot of this stuff,
and then charge everyone a minimal fee
as much as we can, to make this.
Get that passive income coming in for years.
And yeah, this whole section. I mean, Tristan knocks everything out of the park every time that he was assigned to a zone like this. Yeah, he just does amazing work.
He's such a creative mind. I love it. He actually put together a video, and I'd love to share that if you guys
are a video.
Doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to swap over to video.
Wait,
there's some music. Oh, go ahead.
Tristan likes to add music that's not approved. Is there music?
No, this is our
music that's not approved.
All right, got
Benny Hill music.
I stood on the porch until nobody lived here and gave it for myself. Okay, Todd.
Right, we'll play this and we'll be right back.
Yeah, waterfall. Shipwreck? Got to be creative when you want to run. That's true, Ty. That's true. I wish this was open up to the actual ocean, and I could bring my boat right in too. Because it looks like there's rocks underneath the arch there that are blocking any boats actually coming upriver. I could see somebody trying to sneak a caravan through this area, like right by the rocks and stuff, and then just having a group come down from the cliff, from the waterfall, and just jumping on them.
I definitely wanted to show you kind of the screenshots.
Stealing all their loot.
Justice, being able to see the 3D world is definitely something.
Sorry.
Is obviously much better. And for those of you who have been watching our waterfall action throughout the development process, there are some work in progress waterfalls in there. Those are not final.
Yeah.
I just want to make that apparent.
It looked okay to me.
Mm-hmm.
And just to keep in mind, obviously, the aesthetic of the world is. Environment team just does such a great job making you guys all do an amazing job, and I know you get all the love from the community for that, and it's such an important aspect of obviously Ashes because
it does, Ty. It does.
Such a fun component of MMORPGs. I mean, especially when the world is immersive and you can do things like treasure.
I want to know what that thing is in the very top of the. Right up here? Oh, it's gone. It looks like a broken
environment that really lets you
temple or something like that.
This world is one of the big components of immersion, and I love the work you guys are doing. You guys are doing a great job.
And
Thank
for
you
me,
very much.
like the fact that you'll be able to have a freehold and build your own space.
Put it right in there? Right there.
I've always loved that and enjoyed that in games.
Right on this sand, right there. Freehold.
A piece of the land yourself. Finding property that you want to live on and the battle between.
Or maybe here, beachfront. Right on the beach.
And Tristan always does such a great job with the videos. Well done,
he's
Tristan.
a beast, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to character stuff because we still have a lot to go through and we have a lot of questions that we want to answer as well. First and foremost, we have a bunch of new hairstyles. You might have seen this hairstyle on Toast. I can't remember if she swapped to wearing a different helmet in the video. We've got some more beards. I love that female.
Don't even ruin. We'll see. We'll see, Ty.
Braids. So pretty.
Yeah, these are looking great. This is Chris Atkins, and Jinsey doing some of these hairstyles.
There'll be more beaches, Ty.
Great
There'll be
looking
more beaches.
hairstyles.
Don't worry.
Really love how far the character team has progressed with this pass on the characters, the races, the creatures, and the
Oh my
armors.
God.
It's all looking very,
The
very
beard.
good.
We need a bacon beard.
You know what's funny about this beard? About that beard was, I feel like the hair is nicely done, but the beard is like
Yeah.
castaway beard. Fire.
Totally.
And then I have a little turntable of one of them. So this is the hair with a little bit of a braid in it. That's in like a little bun in the back. And then of course you
that's
can see the
great.
beard with a little twirl. And
I think Manny did this one. Yeah.
yeah, it's lovely.
I think Manny did that one.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they've so leveled up. Character front, especially with hair specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just been doing some really awesome stuff with that.
I'm so excited for character creation when we start getting that in, because a lot of people
That'll be
are
fun.
excited to just kind of get their hands on it and play with it.
I mean, you have to have a really, as somebody says, as Caveman only says, you have to have a strong beard game.
Very.
And that's a
agree.
very strong beard game. I like that.
All right, next
Their-
up we have
their
Devil's Hand, which you might have seen.
Character creation is going to be massive, I
I was
think.
wearing the breastplate and the cape part. Steven was wearing the mask. I was wearing the belt too.
Yeah, what's great is that Corey Rice did me a big solid last night. He stayed late to get some of these costumes in.
It can be as many as you want, but I had claimed the first cove and named it. Okay, what'd you name
I
it?
almost cried this morning because I was like
Disappointments?
Because for me, obviously I helped design some of these. This one I think you did the Death's Hand one you designed.
Yeah.
But seeing
It's called Baron's
the
Beach?
game
Oh,
in the
okay.
game is just very emotional. I don't know why. I got really emotional.
Oh, I know, right? I'm going to be scared of my emotional state when we actually
When we
launch.
launch?
Ashes.
Yeah.
I know.
It's being simple.
It'll just be bawling, but no.
Oh, it's happy tears though. I love that our artists put them in the poses that they are in the concept art for the turntable of this. But obviously, we've shown off a lot of different costumes and things of that sort.
No, not disappointed.
Show this one. We also have our Still Soul plate, which is coming around.
Well, that's cool.
I think you've been seeing the progress of this one. We've been getting a lot of.
Some of these
feedback from
cosmetics, I think, are going to be way over the top for, like, if you can wear this on day one as you enter the world, you're going to look ridiculous.
So we've continually added some more changes to this as we've moved forward.
And Danny did this and did a great job with this set.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's looking good.
We have a turntable of it as well, so you guys can see it in the 3D model. Even give it a little pose. And,
So edgy.
and we made the sword and the,
Yeah, I think the only thing
staff.
Literally.
that anybody should be able to
A
wear
lot of edge.
is scrub clothes. Yeah, I agree.
I will be honest.
You should start off looking like
cosmetics that's
trash and then work your way up.
definitely.
So hopefully no one starts with this.
Coming through. Speaking of which, we have Brass Harbinger.
Yeah, tier would be nice. Even like if someone at least hits like level 20, it's better. You don't want to see someone walk out of a portal with a giant axe on their, their shoulder. What the hell is this?
We also have the 3D turntable of this bad boy.
I like it because in one of the, I think of the way that image was set up, it looked really small in this. In the
Yeah.
corner.
Just wait. The reason why that's like that, you're going to see something. You're going to see
okay.
something exciting. That's why he's tiny.
That's-
Are you guys ready?
Oh no! I'm
Show me.
scared now.
So we try to tell you guys that we make a lot of variants from the different creatures that we create so that you experience different creatures in the world. And we do show a lot of them every month, but this one I'm just so excited to share with you all, which is this guy.
Okay.
He's so epic.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
It's a big
Yeah,
monkey.
these are T-poses, obviously.
Looks like they've been hanging out with the Dr. Monroe.
See that as like a good
Dr.
cause.
Monroe. That's a good
I
reference.
can imagine some of the
Oh, when he
animations
picks
and
up
skills
4
for him.
people.
Oh, I know.
Like carries them in the air, and you have to like shake the hand to like get them off. Like, oh, so cool. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what the design team does with these, and of course the
And
different variants that come out of it.
This is Keith Kovac, I believe, who did this one. Looking good.
Alright. And I think we're ready to head on to our Q&A. Unless
Ooh.
there's anything else you want to add on the character art side, Steven.
Got like 40 minutes of Q&A. Let's do it.
No, just a lot of stuff coming out of the character art team. Chris Atkins and Jinsey and Danny and Carson and Manny. You guys are all doing a great job. Keith, all doing an awesome job. Stuff's coming to life, and it's awesome to see it getting into the game and in alpha.
This is really like Steven being a teacher, seeing if he can remember all his students' names.
I know, and I'm.
You start naming them. I'm like, oh, now he's got
Sad news for you at this time. Cosmetic gear can be used at start. Could have changed during alpha. I tend to only.
with you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
On to our Q&A.
I heard that too. You could start with the cosmetic gear, but
Chat. Try to get through as many.
I hope that changes. I really do.
So we'll go quickly. Yeah. So we have Tyranthraxis.
Oh, Ty, you gotta go? That's alright, buddy. We'll come back and watch the Q&A later.
Will players receive any kind of moment?
This is the good info here.
Which to remember any of the amounts that can die or expire, like a core item. Oh.
Once it's gone,
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Savage. You're just like.
It dead.
Nope.
question.
I'm just messing.
No beautiful cosmetics in the very beginning of the game. That's what I think.
Augments.
Well, we'll see,
Will
Ty.
I be selecting
Log in and go
on a
complain
skill
about it.
basis, or can I only choose one augment school for my whole build?
No, you'll be selecting them on a per skill basis. So the augments will stem from a few things, from your secondary archetype selection, from perhaps any organizations and or religions you're a part of, and then as you have those selections available and you go across your individual active skill set that's derived from your primary archetype, you'll have a selection of augments that will be applicable to different skills.
Okay.
All right. Our next question is in regards to bounty hunting, and this is from Dante Machiavelli. I like saying the name Machiavelli. It's fun.
Machiavelli.
That's a great name.
Isn't that from
Matrix.
No, but
The
yes,
Matrix?
it is from the Matrix. But I thought Machiavelli wasn't that a Sherlock Holmes villain or something?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember, I remember that. Right? It's from the Star Trek episode.
Nah.
Nerd.
Holodeck.
Oh, wait. I know what he's talking
That might be
about.
wrong. It might have been something else. I don't know. It starts with that. Moriarty. No, that's Moriarty.
Oh,
Yeah.
Moriarty, yeah. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, what is Machiavelli? I'm like, I can't remember.
Moriarty.
All right, so this question is about bounty hunting, and it is, if multiple bounty hunters team up to try and take down corrupted players, who gets the credit for the kill? Entire party, or just the person who gets the last hit on them?
For right now, it's going to be the person who gets the last hit. We may change that to any contributing damage source, but we'll see. But for right now, it's last hit.
Okay. And
Okay, whatever.
O2 wants to know about item previews. Will players
$2
who
sugar.
purchase things like mounts in a trade or auction be able to preview them before buying them? So having like a little preview window that you can see on your character.
Right now, that is not planned. No. So if you have the ability to kind of see other players with it, right, or see it as part of like caravans or something like that, then you'll have insight. But otherwise, no, there won't be like a preview section for player-to-player trading or auctions.
Do you think that's
Okay.
something that maybe down the line, like past launch, that we could maybe implement as like a UI quality of life update?
Maybe it's definitely not in the scope for pre-launch, but maybe afterwards.
Hey man, I'm just trying to,
No,
follow
I
up
know,
some questions for him.
It die well before Matrix came out. Yeah.
I know.
Have engineers
Jalon-
and character team killing me. Sorry, go ahead.
Jalon wants to know about music. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you either. Will Intrepid own the distribution rights for the music made by Bear McCreary for streaming DMCA purposes?
Yes, the Ashes of Creation and Intrepid Studios will own the music of Ashes.
Jolan would ask that.
And just so you all know, when we put out any music or put out any music in our game, our plan is to not, we want content creators to be able to create content utilizing our game. So, just
You're supposed to get stuff done.
just
Sure you will,
suggest
Ty.
and we'll
Sure.
try to resolve any of those
You just
problems
gotta wait another
on journey. So just
30 minutes and it'll be done.
We'll resolve it for you. But I'm usually pretty forward thinking on that front. Our next question is from a Rise site, and they want to know about resistances. Will each monster have its own set of resistances and vulnerabilities, or will the game feature specific specific types,
What?
i.e. like D&D and Pokemon?
Like elementals?
So monsters will have certain types of resistances, right? And there will be counterplay between how characters construct their skills and abilities with influences from types of resistance penetration, and that will be a contested stat against the resistances of a particular monster, right? Not every monster is going to have unique resistances, right? They'll share groups of types of resistances based
So
on
like Pokemon.
whether
Got it.
monster is a particular element affinity or a particular heavy armor, particular weapon type, stuff like that. So there will be resistances groups that are shared by certain types of monsters and their location and as it relates to their lore and background.
So a fire bear will be strong against fire.
And
Got
Nestor
it.
wants to know about siege scrolls. Is a siege
Just
scroll
Pokemon.
able to be modified once it's obtained? If the if the node advances while we were questing to get the scroll itself.
No. The questing that is incorporated as part of attaining that particular scroll is very particular to the type of scroll you're attempting to acquire. And that is inclusive not just of the materials required as part of that questing, but also the time associated with completing that quest, because we want there to be a reciprocal relationship between how much time it takes to stand up
Sounds
a,
like
a node of the particular size
Just
and
trying
the
to throw-
types of
yeah.
quests that are required in order to attain the siege scroll. So there won't be a method by which you can first attain a scroll for a lower level node and then increase or augment or change that scroll after you've completed the quest. You'll have to go through a new quest again for the type of level of node you want.
All right. And continuing
Yeah,
with
Ty,
this, trend, we have
you got a hard
grilled
time
cheese
with that
burrito,
voice to
which
chat.
I think is an epic name. Also sounds
is a
kind of
great name.
gross. Like, I'm not sure I'd want a grilled
Grilled
cheese.
cheese.
I like grilled cheese and I like mojitos, but I don't know if I want them together. That just sounds
I like
weird.
grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Ooh, yeah. I want that. I think I might do that for
I
lunch.
think I have that for lunch.
Yeah, I think we should do that for lunch. Stephen and I have a meeting after the stream later today. We will be eating our grilled cheese and tomato soup. Our question here is, what will you do, if anything, to ensure balance between sides of a siege?
Nothing.
Well, that's
Nothing.
an interesting question. So do we as the developers want to ensure balance? Not necessarily. I mean, obviously there are points of balance that we want to incorporate, such as the defense mechanisms that the defenders have, the types of buffs that are acquired through completing to killing the bosses or capturing control points, the stages before a siege when it comes to those node progressions in the preceding weeks. Those are all going to be balanced, considering all things being equal between the two sides. But obviously, we're not going to control the state of gear acquisition.
That was a tough one, Ty.
As an advantage over the other, right? There might be a much better geared team over there.
That's how I look usually when I read your comments.
A coordinated team. There might be a higher number of individuals who are part of the attacking or the defense, right? Those are components that we aren't necessarily going to put on railroads, so to speak, but the aspects of design that we can talk about, like the hit point health of a particular wall or door, or mercenaries that can be hired. What's their cost? What's their damage output? Those are things, yes, we're going to balance. But
Okay, Ty.
anything that's player dependent or that has player interaction and activity and determination, you can't always balance, and you don't want to balance those aspects.
I'm glad they're not going to balance it. Like, if I bring a guild of 50 people, or like 200 people, against castle's defenders of 50, I should win. I had to wrangle up 200 people to win. Or if I did all the work during the weeks to knock out all the nodes, the support nodes, and stop all the caravans, like,
the server will keep
I should win.
the guild's performance and the guild's win-loss rate for guild wars and other types of competitive.
Yes, that's what I want.
Either even on the PvE side, when we talk about completion.
I want guild wars. I want to raid enemy guilds. I want to mess them up.
Those types of things will be kept as part of a record for guilds and or nodes and citizens.
Well, unless they all suck, that's true.
It's always
It's a high probability they will.
You're a accomplishments get displayed as part of that
Right,
server
achievements.
history, right? And to keep a record of those things. That's always cool to have available to you. Yeah.
Our next question is from Acareto. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why I said it like that. But
Okay.
and their question is about corrupted areas. If the corruption in an area is not fought back by players, how far can the corruption grow?
That's a very good question.
It is.
There are certain effects that can happen in a world that does not have a proper response from the player population.
Really?
And that's the whole idea behind, these events that can happen that, feel like these are natural world progression events. If corruption starts to show itself as a response, as a pushback to the player's development of nodes in the world itself, there are certain things that can happen, such as the spawning of dragons or
That's true,
zombies
Toy.
that are going to come out and attack.
It's almost impossible to truly balance 1v1 when you have 8 professions with 8 subclasses per each. Like,
communities that don't respond
if they can
to
balance a
those
group
effective
versus group,
way,
that's fine.
right? See
And I'm
the
totally
savings
cool
of
with that.
services, the reduction of
I'm totally
certain
cool if I'm a
customers,
tank and I always lose to
you know,
a bar
the
or
idea
something,
is to
you know?
keep this as part of
Like
a
Red Sea Corruption? Yeah, Ty. Very
believable
kind of similar, yeah.
living response from the world. So those can get pretty significant, the bad effects that can happen for the community.
Bacon, you're gonna have fun making all those.
So then, here's my thing to add on. Maybe I should ask this. If you have your 2 continents in the game, say the one continent on this side is really great about fighting back the corruption, just beating the hell out. This other side here, other continent, maybe they just don't care, they're PvPers or whatever. They're crafters, or they just don't care. And their continent becomes totally corrupt. Will they have a totally different experience with every day where they go out in the world and they're fighting off giant bears or whatever, or there's events happening. But then my side, who takes care of the continent and maintains the corruption and keeps it at bay without a problem, will we ever see the events? Like, do we have to then go to the other continent to experience it? And then do we also have to set up, like, will servers plan, like, East Continent we'll sacrifice so we can get cool events while the other continent is fine? Like, I could see servers banding together and be like, and setting it up like that. But that'd be something I would like to. I'm actually going to ask that.
Environments for as they.
We already started.
Oh, it is. Damn it, Shoe Toy. Too early.
Right now in Alpha 1. Yeah, this looks great. Yeah, that element looks amazing.
Jump the gun.
Back, I think a few streams ago, we showed some of the hotbed area. And it's an example of how corruption starts seeping into the world as a starting point, right? And, there's going to be abilities for that to progress and move forward and activate spawners of certain types of enemies around a node and, get players to respond to that.
Our next question is from Kodu, and they want to know about respawn. Will non-corrupt players always respawn at the closest respawn point, or will they have a choice of where they can respawn?
It's going to be closest. You won't have a choice on the respawn. However, with that being said, certain events may disable respawn points based on proximity to the event and might respawn players further away. And that has to do with the lore behind,
You have a great day. I'll hit you up later on tonight. Check out more of this. All right, Ty, you have a good one, buddy. Go clean your room.
Spark of life.
I appreciate you watching.
Goddess of creation, being that phoenix type of avatar, and if corruption has moved into an area and an event has started, that the access to those kind of ley line oriented respawn points may be obscured, might not be accessible. So that could create some additional distance that needs to be traveled as part of these types of events.
Okay.
I love living, breathing world stuff. It's just.
Who doesn't?
Excited.
Who doesn't, Margaret?
This next question is going to be for both of you, so kind of think of your answer. But Stephen, you can kick it off with the first answer, and then give Bacon time to think about his response. It's from Cornelius, and they want to know. It's kind of in regards to Alpha 1 as a whole. If you had to choose one thing to be as good as possible for Alpha 1 from your perspectives, what would it be? And Stephen, if you can kick us off.
I would say probably slower performance. That's obviously Alpha 1, as we've said many times, is a very technical alpha. We've stood up a lot of the core systems. But one of the primary focuses one of the primary focuses is vetting the fundamental architecture of how the networking component of the world, of the game itself, is going to exist. So that foundation is strong and secure moving forward, and we can build upon that, right? It bodes very well, I think, for some of the activities that we have been seeing, and we can take those then to scale further. But vetting that the basic needs of our networking are met, and that we feel confident moving forward, and building upon that is probably the most important aspect of Alpha 1. Front-facing kind of,
Well, it's a shutdown events and quality of life kind of thing. So for a zone to just let things go,
is not really the focus.
I kind of got that feeling. I just didn't think like
I wouldn't say
corruption was going to be as expansive as what they're getting at in the end.
Have a lot of changes that occur,
Which is cool. I mean,
the different testing periods as we move through.
I want servers, maybe a server that becomes underpopulated.
Determine what all of those core game.
Like, if a server becomes underpopulated, I want it to fall into disarray. And then that will give an incentive for players to make new characters and be like, we'll fight back. We'll really fight the corruption back. We'll really save the server and stuff. And it'll give a reason for people to jump servers a little more. Or at least make a new character for a month or something to, do some big battles and events to, like, push the corruption back. I mean, I think that'd be fun.
Play loops are going to look like in their final state. I wouldn't look to Alpha 1 to represent that to any player that's thinking, what is Ashes going to be when it launches? But instead, this really gives us, we've taken this transparent development process thing to heart, meaning that you guys get to watch every step of the way as we develop the game.
Well, that's true.
For me, being a gamer as an outsider to the industry when I started the company, that was such an important thing.
I mean, I've been in enough MMOs where the communities fall apart.
What it takes to make MMORPGs. To watch
just due to underpopulation, which I hope this game doesn't get to there, but
from the beginning, and we still have that today. But at the same time, there's a lot of very passionate developers that are part of the Intrepid team that are working day and night to make sure that this game lives up to the expectations that we as developers and that our community has as well. So the technical components of Alpha 1 are really the focus, establishing kind of what the foundation for us as a team moving forward is. That's the primary focus.
For you, Bacon, you could pick one thing that you want to be as good as possible, what would it be?
Well, I mean,
environment.
Like Steven just mentioned, like, it's not really about as good as possible at the moment. I mean, for me, it's like it was putting enough components in place where we have a clear direction as far as like where we're moving forward in terms of our technology, like the node system specifically. Like, I'm very happy. Not with its finished state, but the components are starting to come together in a way that we hadn't had them before, where we're starting to answer the questions and starting to implement some of the systems around, like the roads, because the roads are going to like switch out with the node system and the content around it and the nodes themselves, and how it's going to work with the terrain, how we're going to have a dynamic system. And we did a lot of R&D work as far as, I mean, we've had iterations of it, from the beginning, but I felt like last summer we really hit on, this is where it really is going now. Like, we know for sure, like we were saying, okay, this is starting to really work. And those core systems, even though they're not fully realized, but the framework is starting to get put in place, that we're really starting to see that element of it come together. And I think that's really exciting. And it's also exciting, like I was mentioning with the races, seeing those actually start to really kind of, you could feel them start getting gravity to them, where they're, okay, that really is what the race is going to be. This is what this race is going to be. And then that's going to, counterpoint would be the other races, and as they come together, we know, okay, we have this race over here, we have this race over here, they're really solid, and so these ones,
really, there's you see, I don't watch a lot of the other people that make Ashes content too much. A bunch of them make me roll my eyes all the time just because of how they talk about stuff, and they just go on and on about stuff I really don't care about and can't have a conversation with. But you've been seeing people are starting to swing back to the don't trust Intrepid?
The system in general it's starting to look really nice. So yeah, I think that there's still a lot.
Is it like content creators, or do you just see it on the Discord? Because I really don't. I'll go on the Discord during testing, but that's about it.
Yeah, the dynamic sense of it, it just requires so much to build out, to get that to really work, properly. And I'm just feeling really good that those pieces are really starting to come together. So.
And to piggyback a little bit on Bacon's referring to with regards to kind of how nodes progress, right? I think nodes as a system obviously is the back.
No, fair point, Shuta. I need to start doing that. I just
tackled with regards to nodes.
I don't watch streamers in general, which I think is the funniest thing. I just don't watch.
Players, how they propagate.
Discord is fine, yeah.
It was a very manual.
Yeah, I thought Discord is usually pretty good. From what I've seen, I mean, there's some annoying people on there, but like the positivity is pretty solid there. It's mostly the YouTubers I've always seen have had issues. So yeah, I gotta go watch more content creators.
From our managing our server admin and our grid, right? Basically allocating.
Just force myself.
And so it wasn't a process.
I barely watch content at all.
Considering that we have 103 different node locations that are intended in the full world.
103, write that down.
Unique. We don't want to have this cookie cutter templated.
I thought there was more nodes.
Process. So Bacon and Roy, they worked on creating essentially this tool that allows for more, even though it's curated by the design team on how they want platforms to procedurally generate each node's individual appearance.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Have this kind of unique identifying properties in the layout of a particular node across the world, right? That was the big pie in the sky. Okay,
yeah,
that system.
People sitting in the background who aren't invested or don't really know what testing is are really they're just seeing snippets, snippets here and there of the game, and like, oh, this sucks, that's not working right, nothing's progressed. But testers, we see a lot that's gone on, and a lot of the changes and iterations, and really seeing how the game has come along. So we also have a higher opinion, more positive
system of when we actually have the entire world built. So that's, I think, a really cool component,
because
as Bacon has said, nodes were a big question mark for how we want these to look and feel, and they need to hit the kind of expectation that we have, not just having these same node living everywhere in the world.
Yeah, and if you want to go check out our Dev Diary series, we actually did kind of a node tool kind of detail video on that.
They need to do the rest of the node dev updates or whatever. I know they've kind of, I feel like they've put a good foundation in for the nodes now, that they could probably make some more. And a side comment, I do like how the nodes on the outside look now, where they got rid of those weird rocks around it, and it's more smooth in the ground, and there's trees, and it looks way more natural. And I was so happy to see that, because it looked like junk with the rocks around it, like a little like a secondary wall in the front. Ugh, I hated it. That's all.
And obviously we will share details on that, and we'll make it very clear where, when, and how you can partake in that if you're interested, or if you want to come down to the San Diego area and partake in that. But right now I don't have the full details, but once we do, we will. We kind of want to get our office situated and be ready to kind of have guests come before we fully go into that.
I don't blame you.
Our next question is from Valinia, who wants to know about alliances. How many guild alliances can your guild be part of?
I'm so sorry. I know we're running over, so I had to answer a critical question in Slack. I'm sorry, what was that last question?
That's fine. This is in regard to alliances. How many guild alliances can your guild be a part of?
Infinite. No.
That's a good question. I think right now, previously we may have had a different answer for that, but right now we're thinking of having 3 guilds that can join an alliance in addition to your guild, so a total of 4.
Interesting.
Obviously subject to change as we actually implement the alliance system, right? And that is, going back to a previous question, how are you going to ensure balance? That's also a component of balance, right? We don't want to create a scenario where, we're encouraging an imbalance in power on a particular server, and part
you
of
don't
that
want to max it too
is
much
incorporating,
or get too many in one side.
rotations
But it might be interesting. 2 mega alliances.
Obviously, you can get past that. I've been a guild leader in the past for many, many years, and I've had very large guilds, and you kind of have to create these sub guilds, or so to speak. We don't want to call them like the secondary guild, because then nobody wants to join the secondary guild, and they all want to get the
Yeah, no one ever does. Yeah, Chutoy, they do need to add. They need to get the quests working solid, and they need to get so all the nodes
for drama to occur, for
update properly, at least to whatever it is, level 3 or 4 it gets to. It needs to do it. Otherwise, people are going to run out 2 days. I mean, at most.
having to deal with
Castle sieges are only gonna only hold it over long enough.
membership number,
They get
maintainable,
nerf?
and that
Yeah.
also plays into alliances, because alliances confer benefits on associated guilds that are part of that alliance. So right now it's 4, but that's entirely subject to change.
All right. And of course, the chat has been sharing their opinions, and we'd love for you to share yours over on the forums too. Leon wants to know about flying mobs.
Yeah, they'll have their nerf
considering the limits on
with
who has
you
access
can't
to
put
flight
points
mods.
into bonuses and stuff.
So flying monsters are not really going to be a thing from a content perspective. Yes, we will have flying monsters, but essentially what that means is there's going to be rotations either in their behavior tree that might make them inaccessible to targets, or they might do some swooping attacks. They might come and land on the ground and fight you, but generally monsters are going to be accessible from on the ground. So we're not creating content for the limited number of individuals who are going to have access to a flying
That's fine.
mount, right? Our flying mounts are only going to be accessible from kings and queens of castles and mayors of metropolises, of which servers generally going to see at any given time less than 20 people who have access to fully flying mounts. So in that regard, we're not going to have content that's created for those 20 people to engage in flying.
Yeah, that'd be kind of silly.
But we will have mounts that are up and hovering and flying off the ground, and as I said, they'll come and swoop or land and stuff like that. Right now we have one of the dragons does a lot of flying mechanics where he flies up and he's inaccessible to melee combat. He does a dragon breath, but then he comes down and he lands and does a little shockwave and stuff like that. So there's stuff incorporated from a flying perspective, but it's not an entirely aerial combat thing.
Okay, speaking of flying, I got a little flying toast coming in with some clarification. The question was how many alliances you could be in, not how many guilds in an alliance.
Only one. You can only be in one alliance active.
Oh no.
Eric wants to know about weapon progression. If I dual wield, will I get XP/skills from both weapons?
I assume you dual wield both
will have its
knives?
own weapon progression actives, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that'll share based on the types of...
What am I going to have, a long sword in my right hand and a spear in my left?
Yes.
That'd be kind of over the top.
I have quite a few more. How many more would you like to go through, Stephen?
How many do we have?
Do them all.
Like 7.
Holy smokes, let's do 7 more.
Okay, 7 more.
Generous.
Kaiju wants to know about stats. Will there be more niche stats in addition to basic ones? For instance, increased healing received from allies, increased armor penetration, etc.
Oh yeah, I think there's going to be a very wide. Well, yeah. Not just necessarily passive system. So passive system is going to play off of those particular derivatives, those particular stats, right? But there's a wide range of available stats that get waterfalled off of your primary attributes, and there's 6 primary attributes, and each of them stems out into these waterfall type derivative stats. But there's a wide arcing number of influences that come out of those attributes. Absolutely.
Okay.
As if a large guild tries to overtake a node, your members can't be citizens, only hold so much open spots. Also
wants to know about housing decor. Can we use...
Oh, really? Well, that's a good factor too, Chutoy. It's costly then if you have a massive guild.
There's for sure going to be certain home decor items that are weapon.
It might be beneficial to almost run 2 guilds if you have a large one.
I think we have some.
Like one maybe focused on combat, maybe a second one focused on crafting.
exactly.
or something,
And
depending
then
on how the
whether or not
bonuses work.
those actual
Or the
decor items
skills.
are going to be specifically related to in-game weapons that you can equip. I'm sure that we will have certain decor items that will be representative of unique weapons that you can then that you will have available to equip and achieve in game.
Right. Magic Man wants to know about UI. Will there be any options to adjust target visibility, such as swapping the circle around a target's feet for something different?
Please.
Reticles.
Well, these would be targeting templates, right? I think he's talking about. Yeah, I think that that's not outside of the realm of what we're trying to achieve with customizing UI. I think there's going to be options for the reticle. There's likely going to be options for the targeting
Well, if I
templates
become
and decals.
a citizen of a node, I'm just a citizen, and I can get an instance department, a house in the node, or a freehold I can do. So there's options that Big Guild can do, but I'm sure it'll cost more.
So corrupted that if a player stays there, they will slowly gain corruption themselves.
Ooh, tell me more.
No, there will not be any areas that confer corruption onto a player.
That's a good question.
Wants to know about systems.
To be in the main guild or be part of a second sub-level guild, or just bail in front of guild.
Such as things you
True.
wish you could have implemented from another game, but couldn't due to technical workload or other reasons.
I know at one point.
Yeah, I would love it if we could have essentially spaceships that you fly out into different planets and mix them.
Okay, Steve. I know when I was running BMF, my guild for a while, we had 300, 400 active members in SWOTOR, and we ended up only allowing your main and your secondary character in the main guild. And then we had like 4 sub-guilds, 2 Imperial, 2 Republic, and our main guild was Republic. And we just split people over everywhere. It was ridiculous. There's a lot of people we had. It's crazy to keep them all together.
Have you seen them on a systems? I feel like Steven just said yes.
Yeah, I know. Yes. That is not true. I've said no to many things.
I know.
And I've maintained consistency in our systems and design so that they are, we're not doing scope creep.
I'm just trolling you, buddy.
I know.
You can
Dude
troll.
wants to know about gear. Will there be stat requirements to equip gear? So you have to have like a certain amount of strength to be able to put on some armor.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a cool question that came up a long time ago on the design side, whether or not we wanted to incorporate certain types of restrictions for items like that. We decided no, that, obviously we have level requirements that are going to be apparent, that are going to be applicable for particular types of
this
gear.
game is
There's
not.
going to be affiliation requirements that is for certain types of gear as well.
You're going to have to spend a lot of time in this game if you want to do alts, honestly. SWOTOR was so easy with alts, like, it was silly.
I don't want to shoehorn people into particular types.
I mean, I think at one point I had 30 characters on one server, and all were max level.
Versatility that exists within our class system. They don't have to play it per se, and that kind of lends itself to a meta. It's like,
I don't see this game being. I don't see anyone hitting level 50 max in Ashes within like the first 2 weeks. I don't know.
It can feel a little too restrictive when you start to dictate from a stat perspective how a character must build their, a player must build their character.
All right. And Vera Lord is our final question today. Asking
Vera
about
Lord.
titles. Are there plans to have any unique titles that only one person can obtain? Obviously,
Yes.
we have like mayorship and all kinds
Yes.
of stuff.
Oh,
We've had
okay.
that question before. There's certain organizations, there's religions, there's mayor, there's kings and queens, there's guild leaders, there's guild officers.
Right.
Like all of those can incorporate particular types of titles.
I think this game is going to be so difficult to get top tier gear because you're going to have to defeat raid bosses to get this, that, all this stuff. It's going to be so hard for people to do it without like doing on their main, let alone their secondary or their alts, I should say.
That you get to kind of identify and say, "Ooh, I'd like to do that particular thing very well and better than others," and you can.
I've got 3 accounts for this game from Kickstarter, so I'm going to have my main. My son might play on the second one, and my third one I'm just going to have as a I don't know, extra freehold at this point. I don't even know if how I'm going to use it.
No, the monster coins.
It's just going to be a storage bot.
That's only on your server. Yeah, we haven't really gotten into the cross.
cross-server stuff?
There might be like cross-server types of arenas that we institute, maybe.
Please do.
I don't put any promises. This is kind of like a stretch goal, or at least maybe could come afterwards, where we have ladder-oriented activities that exist within particular servers, and those
Raid bosses plus, hey look, we are killing a boss, then we get attacked by another party. Yeah, really.
Like at the end of a particular
It seems like a lot of these raid bosses are, for the most part, open world. There's no instances. So anything can be stolen, or you can just get wiped. I mean, I kind of plan to do that with my guild, just to camp a boss and be like, pay us this amount and we'll let you go. Or we'll ruin your day. That might be a great business.
I think that would be really cool, but we don't have that in the plans for launch.
So maybe we'll see.
Give me 100,000 gold, or I'll ruin your night.
Subject to change as we move forward. We're always going to be taking y'all's feedback into effect, and of course, as we do more testing, we might decide something needs to be adjusted, and we usually try our best to share those updates with you all. Or if something changes, we try to let you guys know. Reminder that we do have our new dev discussion and guild gathering coming up in July, so please partake in those. They very much help our team.
Do they though?
Of course, we have our July cosmetic swap over and pre-order packages coming on July 7th, as well as there's an Alpha 1 spot test happening today.
Yeah, they said they're going to do some instancing. It's just, I mean, the alpha testing, I don't think we've technically seen it.
Test on July 1st.
Maybe that dragon boss at the end? I don't remember if that was instance or not.
We keep you guys updated. Be sure
And the
to
end of
check out
that
our,
one dungeon they showed?
Alpha 1 preview forums as well as Discord.
Can't remember. I've only been there like twice.
I'm just telling you what is of Friday, what information I have. So if you're watching this at a later date.
The test today might be pushed to tomorrow, by the way. Those of you testers watching, we may push that to tomorrow. There's a couple of issues.
Nope, yeah.
All right. And of course, we'll be putting this video up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/AstersOfCreation. So definitely go check it out over there. We have all of our videos. We try to keep everything nice for you. We also put them up on all of our social channels as well as on our news. We try to keep you up to date with everything.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was open world.
We try to be on it.
Because I remember running in by myself. I just couldn't remember if there was a door to click on first.
We try to just keep you up to date in all of the places. So there's never a place that doesn't have information about the latest news. So just keep it.
Well, we'll see what the final is. I'm sure there'll be some bosses that'll be behind an instance, like a door you gotta click on to get in. And that way they can kind of manage that a little better.
Thank you again to Bacon for being our guest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bacon!
Then they don't have to have it so much in the live world too.
Lots of cats.
They can like instance it somewhere else on a subsection of a server.
Obviously, as you guys know, we love our community, we love our testers, we love sharing with you guys the progress for Ashley Creation. We're very grateful for you guys tuning in and giving all of your commentary and feedback, and that's what makes this process so enjoyable for all of us. And developing the game is watching your guys' response to the development, to the progress that we're making, and we love all of you guys out there for tuning in. Thank you very much.
We really appreciate it. Of course.
The very best.
We'll see you all next month for another development update. That one might be more of like a play session, right?
Oh, maybe.
We'll just play with you guys for an hour so you can see the alpha.
It's fine by me.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We'll see you guys next month. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Well, that was most enjoyable. It was I feel like that was one of their longer streams too, and they didn't feel like they were in a rush this time too. So should I go back like 2 seconds in it? No, that's not working.
And we'll see you on the
anyways, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching. Chutoy, thanks for stopping on by. Chichan. I'm. Is it pausing for me? There we go. I'm really pumped for this game. I can't wait for it to come out, and I'm going to be making continued content as time goes on. NDAs get lifted, cosmetics get released, stuff like that. I do my monthly video for now, and all that fun stuff. So, if anybody's got any quick questions, we'll talk. Otherwise, I was going to head out. I got to get my little boy from a, what is he in? Oh, he's at a birthday party, so I got to go run and do that shortly. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch y'all later. Bye. Oop, wrong button. I'll play that really quick. Remember, everybody, I have a guild. So join it. And what else? Yeah, bmfguild.xyz. Check it out. Join the guild. Doing some work on that, getting people together. And check out my squeetee.com website and all my other places, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.